Are you struggling to stay consistent on YouTube? It's actually easier than you think. And you don't need a stricter schedule or more motivation to do so either. What you need is alignment. I know it sounds fluffy or vague, but hear me out. Because once you understand this, staying consistent is absolutely effortless. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to stay consistent without crashing on YouTube. And if you're new here, why should you listen to me and who am I? I'm Saarenoja. I help new YouTubers grow on YouTube and turn their passion into profit. And I have consistently posted on my channel 3 videos a week for a year. There was 1 month where I posted 2 videos a week. However, for the rest of the time, I have posted 3 videos a week for a year, and I have 3 young children, no sleep, and a very busy life. So if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm going to share how you can do it in this video. So the first thing you need to know is that alignment creates flow. When you're living in alignment, you don't have to push yourself to be consistent. It just happens naturally. Why? Because you're in flow. But first, let's actually talk about what flow is, like what it looks like, what it feels like, because there's a lot of people that don't even know what it's like to be in flow, or that they don't even realize that they are in flow when they are. So if you are in flow, this is what happens. Time becomes irrelevant. You might be working on something for hours and hours and hours and look up from your desk and it's felt like only 5 minutes went by. You wake up excited to do it. You wake up excited for the day. You can't wait to start working on your project because it is in flow with you. That's another sign that you're in flow. You're energized, you're excited, you're not drained, you're not worn out, you are feeling uplifted and energized. Another way to know you're in flow, you constantly think about it. You think about what that topic is all the time. For me, it's how to grow on YouTube. I think about it constantly. I am always researching, watching YouTube videos and podcasts and thinking in my mind always about how to help my viewers to grow on YouTube. Another sign that you're in flow is whenever you're walking, in the shower, driving in your car, eating food, having coffee, ideas are coming to you. Consistently and constantly, great ideas are coming to you for your project or endeavor. And on top of that, they're not just flowing to you, you can't wait to execute on those ideas. That's another sign that you're in flow. So when you're aligned with what your purpose is or what you love to do in life, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like you have to be consistent. It just automatically happens because of all those things I just mentioned. Feeling energized, getting ideas, can't wait to post those ideas and do those ideas. Feeling like time flies when you're working on that particular project. It feels like you are born to do this. It feels like a fish in water. It's natural environment. You're in your element. You're alive. That is another big key of being in flow. You feel like you're you, like you are meant to do this. You were born to do this. Now, the next thing you need to know is that flow is real, but that doesn't make it easy. Now, here's a twist to this whole knowing you're in flow. Just because you're in flow doesn't make it easy. For example, you might be a musician, and you might feel in flow when you're playing your instrument, when you're just lost in the music. But you still have to deal with a lot of things that aren't in flow with you while you're in flow. For example, maybe you have stage fright. You don't like to play in front of people. So getting on the stage is not something that's easy for you. So even though you're in your flow when you're playing your music, getting on stage and performing it in front of other people is difficult for you. So that's what I mean by flow is not always easy, even though you are able to get into flow easily, if that makes sense. And for me personally, one of my biggest hurdles with being in flow and doing what I love was going from the transition of being a designer and architect where I was paid by a third party to do what I did. I was teaching and then I was paid by the university, right? I was given a salary and I knew I would get that salary every time I taught those classes. I didn't have to go and ask each individual student to pay me for my services. Whereas now, working as an entrepreneur, a content creator, I do need to ask for money from people. And that is one of the things, that is my hurdle, even though I'm in flow with creating videos and helping clients and being in all those spaces that I love to be in and the time just flies, It is very difficult for me to ask for payment. And so that is something within my flow that I have had to learn to overcome and get comfortable with. And so that was a big hurdle for me, and that I'm constantly working on and developing. But that, again, is an example of I may be in flow with creating my videos and always thinking about YouTube and always coming up with ideas and executing those ideas. But there are, even though that flow of being in YouTube and serving my purpose is easy, there are other things along this journey that aren't so easy. And that might stop you from being consistent if you don't face those things. For example, if I didn't face and try to overcome my discomfort with selling and asking people to pay me, I would have stopped my journey a long time ago. I needed to step over that hurdle in order to continue to be a full-time content creator. So even though it might be easy to get into flow, it might not always mean it's an easy path for you to live your purpose. And that's completely normal and something that must be dealt with in order to be successful. In fact, the more aligned you are, the more behind you'll feel. What do I mean by that? Because this is a fun one. As you expand and grow and evolve in your purpose, in flow, you will notice that you always feel like you're a step behind or the next version of yourself. Because here's the thing, life is constantly pulling you forward. Life wants you to evolve. As humans, we're supposed to be creative and we're supposed to evolve all the time. And it's not because you're failing. It's not that you're actually a step behind. It's because you're growing. Life stretches people who are doing meaningful things, not to punish them, but to prepare them for the next level they are meant to get to. So consistency in this context doesn't come from rigid discipline. It comes from evolving your purpose. So if you are feeling some resistance on your journey, even though the act of the thing you're doing is in flow, it's because you probably need to evolve to the next version of yourself that you're just a step behind from. And to do that, it means you have to get out of your comfort zone. And we don't usually want to get out of our comfort zone, but it's the only way to survive and grow and become successful at what you want to do, which is work within your flow. So your flow is always evolving because you are required to go to the next level if you are living your purpose. And another important aspect of staying consistent on YouTube is to remember you're not alone. You're not doing this alone. You're not here just for you. You are here to serve a larger ecosystem of life. Your gifts, your creativity, your message, those are meant to serve a larger population. Those are meant to serve others, to help others, which means, yes, you need other people. You are not doing this alone. You need other people to thrive in your flow and to be consistent on YouTube. You'll need to communicate, you'll need to collaborate, and you'll need to be seen. Even if you're introverted or shy or a very private person, you will need to be seen on YouTube in order to grow your YouTube channel. Your impact depends on your ability to connect with people. And just to let you know, I am a highly introverted person, and I'm showing up to YouTube. And in fact, I find it one of the most rewarding ways to tap into a more extroverted side of myself than going out in public and talking to people. So that connection with people is part of your path. You are not doing this alone. You are not a lone wolf. Even if it feels like you're just talking to a camera alone in your room, it's part of a bigger picture. It's part of a larger ecosystem. You're here to serve the audience that you're showing up for every single week or every single video you make. Now here's a truth bomb. And this will really impact your ability to be consistent on YouTube and your success in life in general. And that is, if you are ignoring or rejecting your alignment, you are ultimately rejecting your purpose for life. And life doesn't just let that slide. You will be miserable if you don't strive to align your life with your purpose. How do I know? Because a year ago, I was very miserable. I was doing a job that I had been doing for over a decade. I had wanted to quit that job for over 5 years. I'd been telling my husband for like 5 years, I'm so sick of this job. I don't enjoy this job anymore. It's just become Groundhog Day. And what happened? Life fixed that problem for me. Life laid me off from that job. That job that I had been saying in my head I wanted to leave for many years. I manifested getting laid off. Is one way you could say it. And that was the best thing that happened to me. Because if you avoid alignment, if you are misaligned and you are ignoring all of the signs around you that are saying, get aligned, live your purpose, life will push you in that direction. And sometimes it will shove you off a cliff, which it did for me when I was left 2 weeks before the semester started with no income for my family. Besides, of course, my husband's income. So life won't let that slide. And it will get loud. It will get in your face. And it will make your life so uncomfortable for you. Because a fish can't thrive on land. Just like you can't survive without living your purpose. You were made to live in your version of the water. Do that thing that brings joy, excitement, vitality, energy, creativity, and just utmost happiness to your life. So I encourage you to pay attention and to get aligned with life. Because when you're aligned with life, when you're aligned with your purpose, consistency on YouTube is not a problem at all. Of course, like I said, it's easy to be in flow, but it's not always to flow easily. And that is because you will have to face hurdles. You will have to be stretched as you evolve, as you grow, and become another version of yourself every time you post a new video and step into your purpose. You will be pushed to the next level, to the next version of yourself. So there will be constant discomfort along this journey, but it's a heck of a lot better of a discomfort where you can see yourself growing and impacting people's lives in a positive way than a discomfort of not living your purpose and feeling stuck and feeling miserable and feeling like you're at a job that you hate, a job that doesn't bring any sense or ounce of joy to you anymore. If you've been struggling with consistency, I want you to ask yourself, is it really a motivation issue or are you simply out of alignment? Because when you're in the right lane, when you're on the right path, and you're doing what you are born to do, your purpose for this lifetime, consistency becomes effortless. And not because it's always easy, but because it's always freaking worth it. So let me know in the comments below if you feel like you're in alignment or if you feel like you're out of alignment. And if you want me to do a video on how to get aligned in your life, I'm happy to do that as well. So let me know in the comments also what you think about that. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.